do we got?
This one's kind of interesting. You know, it's something, again, that pops up in my practice, and I was like, oh, this would be a good topic. And we may have talked about this. I was trying to remember last time. I've never talked about it. So if we have, tell me. So this is a segment talking about what plastic surgeries might be covered by insurance.
I think we have.
Have we done this one?
Yeah.
I mean, if we have, oh my God. It'll be fun. All right, we're going to keep, obviously we're going to do the segment, but then I'm going to watch it.
Let's see if this one is better than the other one.
I know. I think maybe since we did, I can't believe it.
I think we did it.
Did we?
I think so.
It must have been a long time ago. I bet we have new followers since then.
Absolutely.
So they're probably going to want to know 5 years.
Reiterate and go back over again. It's all right.
Well, I mean, and this is a good one that, you know, it might be worth revisiting from time to time because it changes, you know, year to year.
Yeah.
I get tons of people calling my office asking if this particular plastic surgery might be covered by insurance. And, like, the general answer to that question is no.
Yeah.
But not always.
Yeah.
Obviously, things like reconstruction for trauma, reconstruction for cancer, you know, those things are always covered.
Yeah.
Without question. The surgeries that I'm talking about are the ones people classically think about with plastic surgery. Things like, you know, can I get my tummy tuck covered by insurance? Can I get, you know, my breast reduction, my eyelid surgery?
I can see breast reduction if it's causing, like, medical issues.
Yeah, man, that is the very first one that we're going to talk about. But I do have a very, very important point that I'm going to make, because the first one I was going to talk about was breast surgery.
Okay.
And this is important. And so if you take one thing away from this, this might be worth taking. If you have ever in your life had a diagnosis of breast cancer, okay, you can from then on get any breast surgery you want covered by insurance under the umbrella of reconstruction. So, for example, we talked about Jenna Fisher earlier, and she had a lumpectomy, which means they took just a small piece of her breast out.
Yeah.
Chances are her breast looks completely normal, okay?
Yeah.
If she wanted to go and get a breast augmentation surgery right now, she could do that, and it would be covered by insurance because it would fall under the umbrella of reconstruction of a breast that had cancer.
Okay.
If her breast had, you know, sagged after, I mean, not just her, but anyone. I mean, if you had sagging with your breast and you wanted a breast lift, you could get that covered by insurance under the umbrella of reconstruction.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it is good to know. I mean, I guess if there's ever a silver lining about having a breast cancer diagnosis, I mean, you know, obviously getting cured is most important, but having the ability to get your breast altered to your liking is not a bad perk, I guess. Now, what if you haven't had breast cancer? Okay,
Yes.
That's the question, right? So someone calls up, and I don't have it, you know, no, I've never had breast cancer. Can I get my breast surgery covered by insurance? Breast reduction. Historically, breast reduction was covered by insurance. When I started my practice in 2010, I was doing like 3 breast reductions a week through insurance.
Yeah.
It was very easy to get them covered because just like you said, patients can have neck pain, patients can have shoulder pain, patients can have back pain.
It can, like, interfere a lot with, like, just if you, like, want to go running.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to, like,
100%.
be
Do
more
anything
active
athletic.
in your life. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so historically it was very easy, and every year it got harder and harder and harder to get these covered by insurance. And now I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's almost. In fact, we have quit taking insurance for breast reduction, not because we've quit taking insurance, but what really was the straw that broke the camel's back for us is we had a couple times kind of right there at the end where we were doing these under insurance, where insurance would approve the surgery and then they would deny to pay on the back end. And that is a huge problem because
that's
generally
scary.
will eat it, meaning like we won't go after the patient for money because it's
not their fault.
It's not their fault, and it's not good business to have, you know, patients that are unhappy because you're going after them for money.
Yeah.
But the thing is the surgery center doesn't care, and they will absolutely come after the patients for the money that the insurance didn't pay. And we had patients who were super unhappy, and it's not our fault. Like, we did the right things. So if you talk to your insurance company, they will say breast reductions are covered. It's pretty much a lie because they either make the requirements just unobtainable, like they will say that you have to take off an amount so large that you would have no breast tissue left, which no one would agree to, or they set up so many roadblocks, like you have to have 6 months of physical therapy that failed and all these things that no one's going to do, or they'll just say that they're going to approve it and then they deny it on the back end. So, you know, I consider breast reduction one is like 99% you're not going to get it covered, even though that's criminal. You know, what ended up happening, just to kind of get some background, of course, insurance companies are always looking to save money, but it was getting abused slightly because part of a breast reduction is doing a lift.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of women who want to lift cosmetically, and they said, well, okay, maybe I'm a D cup, but I'd be happy being a small D cup. Just do a reduction, a tiny reduction, and lift my breasts, and insurance pay for it. And I think it was getting abused a little bit, and so
Yeah, I
insurance
could see that.
companies basically quit doing it. So breast lift would be the next one. Basically, no, never is insurance ever going to pay for a breast lift, with the only exception being if it was after cancer diagnosis. Augmentation, 99% no.
Yeah.
The only time that I've gotten insurance to pay for breast augmentation outside of cancer was for congenital breast deformity. So like somebody that was born without a breast. So, that would be like there's a syndrome called Poland syndrome, which is basically this syndrome where you don't have a breast on one side. I've done a couple of...
What about if one's like one breast is like a cup size bigger than the other?
I mean, unless there's like a congenital deformity, like the breast just isn't formed. If you just have one breast that's larger, insurance is not going to pay to put an implant on. Yeah, they're pretty strict. Sucks. Breast implant removal. This one's a maybe. If you had a breast implant that got infected and was making you sick, and you went to the ER, insurance would pay for you to go to the ER or to the operating room to remove that breast implant. But the problem is they would not pay to do anything else. And
Okay.
if you remove an implant, you are almost guaranteed to need a lift, or your breast is just going to look like a deflated sock.
Yeah.
And so nobody wants to do it like that. So
Well, I can see that. They pay for to fix the problem,
yeah,
but not to like fix the problem.
yeah, and that's only if it's infected. Like say you had like a ruptured implant.
Yeah.
Insurance not going to pay to fix it unless there's some emergency.
Ah.
It's pretty crazy. So abdominoplasty, no, but in the past maybe there is a procedure called a paniculectomy, which is where you remove excess skin at the lower abdomen. It's one of the 3 parts of a tummy tuck, with paniculectomy, liposuction, and then abdominal wall repair being the 3rd. In the past, like when I started in 2010, we sometimes could get people's paniculectomies covered, and then they would pay the difference to have a full tummy tuck. That was actually a pretty common thing that was done. And then insurance companies kind of figured that out, and nowadays it's basically impossible. The only paniculectomies you can do are like the more reconstructive ones. Like say somebody started out at 600 pounds and they lost 300 pounds, and they're down to 300, but they have this huge overhang of skin which prevents them from walking. I mean, I've had patients. The biggest paniculectomy I ever did was 45 pounds of skin. That was insane. It was huge. You sometimes can get those covered, but those are not the person calling up my office asking if they can, get their tummy tuck covered. Yeah. The other one is eyelid surgery. Upper eyelids. Well, think about it this way. As the upper eyelid skin gets over redundant, it starts to occlude your vision.
Oh, okay.
And it becomes a medical necessity. You can still get upper eyelid surgery covered by insurance. It's gotten more challenging. They've thrown up roadblocks. But if you truly have eyelids that are occluding your vision, then there is a chance insurance will cover that for sure. I've done a couple of
That's
eyelid.
nice.
Yeah. The thing is when people call up wanting eyelid surgery to my office, mostly it's not that bad. It's just that their eyelids are kind of redundant and it's making them look older, and they just want to fix it. If it's like mild like that, yeah, no chance. Literally the eyelid skin has to be drooping over your eyelashes where it's like starting to shroud your vision.
Yeah.
In which case insurance
Well,
would cover.
Travis, now you know.
Travis was saying you want eyelids done?
Yeah, you know me. Me and Sarah was having that conversation before the show, and we had that
Now you know
You
conversation.
guys were talking about the office and talking about how you want to get your eyelids
We had
done.
that conversation in confidence, so now the world knows.
Just you
Oh,
wait.
Sarah,
Whenever
you
you
look
need
kinda
those,
bad.
whenever you need those eyelids fixed.
I got you, bro. You want that done, I will hook you up,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it.
Gynecomastia for men. This is one that you can sometimes still get covered. It used to be a lot easier. So gynecomastia, I know we've talked about this. That's where
Yeah.
men get like female breasts. In the past, it was kind of easy to get that covered. Now it's pretty hard, but not impossible. It just really depends on the policy. Some policies are okay with it. Many are not. So possible, but we do a lot of gynecomastias out of pocket these days. And then the others, liposuction, arm lift, thigh lift, facelift, neck lift, never. You cannot get those covered by insurance.
Can you get Botox on insurance if you have like severe migraines? That thing.
So allegedly, I can't get it because I tried that because we had a few people call wanting Botox for migraines, and the short answer was because you're a plastic surgeon, we don't trust your judgment to say that someone needs it for migraines. It has to be a neurologist.
Yeah, see, that's what my neurologist, whenever I used to go to one,
Yeah.
because I had a seizure a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, they asked me if I wanted to have Botox to treat my migraines, and I was like, I really don't have migraines. And they're like, you sure?
Yeah, right.
You don't want? And I was just
Never
like,
had a
and I was
migraine?
in my 20s, and I was
You
like,
didn't know. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure. Like, I don't want to get shots in my face just for no reason.
And now,
But I'm sure you have to, like, where do you, I'm sure it's not like, because you typically, like, whenever you do it like in that, like the triangle thing.
it's a little bit different. Yeah.
And for migraines, it's
more
probably,
like it's more in the forehead area and then going back.
Yeah, it's not for
It'll help
aesthetics.
It'll help because if you knock out some of these lines, which I'm starting to get them here, my office manager keeps telling me I need to get Botox. I may try it.
How rude.
I know. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
They're so mean to me. But yeah, Botox is a tough one. If you really do have bad migraines, you can go to a neurologist, and there's a chance that they
put the shots like all the way in your hairline. Oh.
Yeah, the thing is that it's hard to do that one out of pocket because it requires so much Botox, and it's I mean, if you were paying for it out of pocket, it'd be like over $1,000 because I think it's 120 units. Because typically, I think when we did yours, we did like 50, which is a average dose. 120. I mean, cheap Botox, $10 a unit, so you're talking $1,200. So it's kind of pricey unless you get insurance to pay for it. But I'll tell you, you were talking about this earlier that one thing that's nice about Botox is even getting it for cosmetic reasons dramatically decreases headaches. Would you not agree?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like I don't know what type of headaches they're called, but it's just like from like muscle strain. Yeah, tension headaches, and I think I get those the most. I had to reach
back for that.
Yeah. It hurts. Because I have a problem with, like, scowling. I was just telling him. Like, I think my head started hurting because I was, like, scowling when I was driving. And I don't even notice. Like, when I concentrate really hard.
Right. Dude, well, you got to concentrate in Dallas traffic.
I know, because or else you're going to
It's like a Mad Max episode out there, I mean, it's kill or be killed.
Wild.
Dallas traffic is real, man. I've lived in a few places and, like...
Angry driving.
It's angry and it's fast. Like, I swear to God, I was on my bike the other day, and I was doing, like, 90 miles an hour, which I know is... not necessarily safe. And people were like passing me on my bike. I was like, in like minivans. I was like, what's going on?
I had to get to Chick-fil-A.
Dude, Dallas traffic is bonkers, man. It's like 100 is not out of the realm of normal. Would you guys agree that 100 is not out of the realm for normal drivers in Dallas?
Yeah.
I'm not talking like people racing. I'm talking like dude going from like home to work or, lady going to wherever, like 100 miles an hour. Like
driving in Dallas is not for the weak.
It is not for the weak, man. It's wild out there. All right. I think that's all the time we got for today's episode. Please leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. If you have any topics you'd like us to cover, we would love to cover them. So drop us a comment in one of the social media things. And otherwise, we will see you guys next week on Nip Talk. Sarah?
Bye.
Bye.